Hello, Christian here at the Durr Branch of the Kenton County Public Library in Independence, Kentucky. We got an overcast Thursday morning, and we also got another how-to video. Today I'm going to show you how to take an old shipping pallet and turn it into a planter box, put it in your garden or in your yard, and put some plants in it for free. So let's spin the camera around and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So I'll show you the planter boxes that I've made so far. We got a really nice donation of some shipping pallets recently, and I've been slowly chopping them up and turning them into planter boxes. This was actually made from a shipping pallet that I found propped up next to a dumpster near the library, and it was a really nice shipping pallet and made for a nice planter box. So yeah, chopped it up, and then I try to recycle the nails whenever I can, and I put this one on some legs to get it off the ground. We got some varmints running around, and let's try to make things a little more challenging for them. It also saves my knees, so I don't have to bend over all the time. So yeah, this is the latest pallet that I made. I haven't, or a planter box that I made. I haven't put any plants in it yet, but it's ready to go. And then this is one I made a while back. Slightly less nice shipping pallet, but it makes for a rustic appearance. And yeah, it's lined with some black plastic. It's got stripping on the top to hold the plastic down, and a very nice person donated some basil plants, so I put those in this box. So there's that one. And then this one I made fairly recently, and same deal, chopped up the shipping pallet, recycled the nails, cut some wood into strips to seal up the top. I've got black plastic on the inside. There's I slashed some openings in the plastic at the bottom for water to leak out, to drain. And then I've just been throwing, I do this in all the boxes, but I throw just dead branches, pieces of wood into the bottom. It acts as kind of a filter for draining, so the soil will retain moisture a little longer. It probably leaches nutrients into the soil. I'm not completely up on the science of that. That's getting into like hygge culture, which I am not a student of yet. It also saves me from using a lot of soil in the box, so it displaces soil, so I don't have to use as much. So that's a good thing. It's just a way to recycle again. Instead of burning or throwing the branches away, I can actually use them for some purpose. And this was the first box that I made, and it's going really well. I've got some herbs growing. Got some sage, cilantro, thyme, and oregano. And I started all of those from seed here at the library. The oregano and the thyme I actually started from seed last winter, so they've had some ups and downs, but they're doing really well out here in this planter box. This one's bowing and warping, but I don't really expect to get a lot of life out of these boxes. They were made from free and recycled, and you know, they last a few years. I think that'll be pretty good. So those are the boxes that I've made so far, and now I'm going to go inside and I'll show you how to take apart a shipping pallet and turn it into a planter box. So before I get into the shipping pallet planter box, I thought I would give a bean fort update. And things are going well. The bean plants are growing slowly, but they are growing. And as you can see, I added some horizontal branches in the hopes that the bean plants would grab onto those and grow evenly up the sides of the fort. But what's happening is they're really favoring the main branches, So I think what I'm going to do is add some vertical pieces here between the skinny branches, just to give the bean plants more to grab onto. They seem to like vertical things to grab onto more than horizontal. But the plants are doing well. I think the flea beetles have moved on to other plants, which is a whole other story. And yeah, that is your bean fort update. So I'll just narrate this part of the video so that you don't have to listen to a bunch of hammering and sawing. Here I am starting to take apart this pallet, and depending on the quality of your pallet, this is either an easy job or it can be an extremely challenging job. This pallet was pretty funky, so there were a lot of nails that I had to deal with. So what I ended up deciding to do was just saw the pallet down the middle, and that way I'll have one end that's flush and sawed, and the other end I just pry off like this, and either way I don't have to deal with prying a million individual nails, and I'll just save these boards to go on the other side. Here I am remembering to put on work gloves. If you're doing this kind of job, definitely wear gloves because of all the rusty nails and splinters sticking off these old pallets. Be safe and save your hands. Yeah, these nails. What is up with that? So what I ended up deciding to do about the nails was just rip this board down the middle, and I have a wood and metal saw blade so I can just cut through any nails that get in my way. So once I've taken the boards off one side of the pallet, I'll cut them down and use them to fill in the gaps on the other side. I already had 4 or 5 boards that were attached on this side, and I just had to fill them in with boards from the other side. And just screwing them down. I oftentimes will recycle nails, which requires often banging them straight. And the nails that you're saving are often in pretty bad shape. They weren't in good shape to begin with, so I'll use screws. Now I'm just cutting the boards so that they're flush and fairly even on this side of the pallet of the planter box wall. So here's one long side, and it's funky. It's got some gaps, there's some splinters, but it's going to do the job. And here I am starting on the other side, the other long side. Again, just filling in the gaps. I had to borrow a few boards from a second shipping pallet, but for the most part I built a fairly large planter box out of a single shipping pallet, which is pretty cool. And here's both long sides done. And the black boards I put in as braces to attach the short sides, which I'm doing here. And this is definitely the easiest part of the job. Again, not perfect. There's probably not a right angle on this thing. Splinters, but it's a good sized planter box and it's going to do the job. Well, thanks for watching this how-to video. I hope you got something out of it. And as always, if you're working on projects of your own, whether they be garden related or otherwise, always feel free to let us know here at the library. We love to hear about what you're doing. And if you're wondering what these 2 planter boxes are for, stay tuned for a future video where I'll talk about my plans for these boxes. Bye-bye! And here are some great book recommends. Garden Anywhere by Alice Fowler. This book has instructions for building a cold frame from old shipping pallets. And Happy Veggies by Mayumi Oda. This is an ebook from Libby. Libby is a free app where you can borrow ebooks and digital audiobooks from your public library. And don't forget about our Summer Reading Club, which is in full swing. The Summer Reading Club is for kids, teens, and yes, adults. Read and listen to books, audiobooks, ebooks, and periodicals to enter. Enter online or visit your local KCPL branch. For adults, Prizes are awarded bi-weekly.